Hello, it's Friday, and that means it's time for Lilly's news. So let me just make sure. Looks good. Okay, you guys, what a week. I'm going to be sipping throughout the hour because I got a little, when you get a little... So, hi guys, welcome to Insane Games TV, their YouTube channel. This is the YouTube version of Insane Games TV. My name is Lilly, and every Friday at 5 p.m., that's when we do Lily's News. And we have some things, some new things, some old things to cover this week. And I want to start with, a update from last week, shall we? Oh my goodness. Okay, so you guys, last week we talked about Carlee Russell and how Carlee Russell was gone, disappeared, and how I wanted to give it due process and time and information and weeding of the false or the truths. There's so much noise going on out there. I wanted to give it some time for the truth to be revealed before I inherently decide what my opinion and how my reaction is going to be to this entire incident. So Carlee Russell decided to meet up again with police officers. If you don't know, Carlee Russell was a girl. She called 911 on the side of a highway in Alabama, said, hey, there's a toddler, and then line's dead. Line was still on, but there was a scream and gone. Police showed up about 5 minutes later. No toddler, no Carlee. Her wig, her car, her phone, her watch were all still there. Turned on, light flashes were still on. Carlee was gone. Carlee showed up, knocked on mom and dad's house 49 hours later with a cut on her lip and like torn clothing and $107 in her sock, and said, hey, I'm back, and it was traumatic. And then she had the whole story of I was kidnapped, a man with orange hair, a woman that she never saw, a baby crying. They fed me the Cheez-Its that I bought from Target. So it was all of that. That story is what I'm talking about. And last week I wanted to make it very clear that it's okay to be angry and like knowing that this was a false kidnapping, that it was all deceptive, that she did it herself. But I wanted to wait to have an actual reaction until the information of why did she do this came out. Because I think it's very easy to go, I can't believe she did this. Yes. And now I too am on the same page of just pure rage and anger after what came out this past Monday. So her lawyers gave the police a statement to read that Carlee was in fact not kidnapped. There was no toddler, and it was all a lie. And it was all a ruse. It was all fake. It was all deceptive. It was a lie. There was no mention of it was all a lie due to some sort of like mental health crisis. It was just a lie. And I would have been able to give a little wiggle room to pure rage and anger and upset and just pure frustration. I would have given a little wiggle room if she was somehow experiencing a mental health crisis to an extreme level, and she thought running away would help something. But no, No. And we've talked about last week about how this is good. This could potentially, I hope it doesn't, it could potentially have a massive impact on how the nation treats missing people of color. It was really good, and it was really beautiful and quite remarkable, and restored a lot of faith in humanity for a lot of people. Sherry Papini vibes, major Sherry Papini vibes, major Sherry Papini vibes. The energy that was put out was very, very fantastic. It was like on an extraordinary level of communities, the nation coming together to help find a woman, no matter her race, no matter their gender, no matter anything. It was, this person is gone and we need to find them. It was fantastic. And there's a lot of fears right now in the world that this is going to immensely impact how the nation responds to other instances of people of color going missing. And I too am concerned. Yeah, Sherry Papini was the woman a few years ago who kidnapped herself, tied herself up to like a radiator, bruised herself, maimed herself, starved herself, beat herself, and was gone for a good chunk of time. And she said that it was two Hispanic women with like bandanas around their mouths, and really implemented a lot of fear and a lot of unsubstantiated racial tension to her own community due to her faking her kidnapping. And Ronnie, I don't know if you saw the Sherry Papini police interrogation videos, but she's like in the room with her husband, who gave up literally everything to find his wife, and like two officers, and they're like, so are you gonna tell him, or are we, because we're done? It's so fantastic. They knew, and they were not having it. So my update on Carlee Russell is that she deserves what the police institution is going to charge her with. And I think a lot of the negative energy that's coming from the nation right now is substantiated. So that's my Carlee Russell update for you. I'm pissed. I haven't even like kind of let myself kind of fully digest all of it, because it's been such a busy week with just fantastic news things. So let's talk about the aliens. Aliens. And I guess they're trying to not say like aliens and UFOs. We want to say UAPs, which is like unidentified. What does UAP stand for? Let me look it up. I know it. I always forget it. UAP stands for unidentified. No, it's not. It's not It's not unidentified flying object. It is unidentified aerial phenomenon, which is an unidentified flying object. So there was a congressional hearing with three men, who are standing on the side of the nation has non-earthly life forms, non-earthly crafts, invading our airspace, and also like captured, like some crafts have crashed, and there are non-human biologics obtained with that. And I listened to the whole thing. It was hours long. It was a few hours long. It was hard to get through. And there were moments where it's like, yes, keep asking the questions. Yes. And then it just died with like a 95-year-old like Congress representative. God, man, there should be an age limit, and we'll get to Mitch in a little bit. We'll get to him. So this was a fantastic congressional hearing. I really enjoyed listening to these three men give up as much detail as they could. So there was a pilot, just like a pilot. I just fly planes, and then there were two sort of, I don't want to say like military, but like higher ranked national folk. One of them hasn't seen anything, and they are just the representative of those that have come to him, and the other two have visually seen things. Now, one of them was the Tic Tac video, and I'm sure we have all seen it. You have all seen it. Excuse me. My throat is a little hurty. So the Tic Tac video is a video very rough. I mean, when I tell you that it is shocking to see like corner store security footage have better reception and like HD action happening for like a 4-car parking lot, and the military has just like a fuzzy UAP flying around. Like, can we not up that? Like, is 1080p not an option? Like, what is happening here? So it's very interesting. So the one man was speaking on his experience of visually seeing, physically being in the time, space, and area of the Tic Tac UAP, and it's a very cylindrical flying object that was seen, and it garnered a lot of attention when it came out, after it was kind of forced to come out because people were saying this needs to come out. It's very strange. So what we learned at the congressional hearing is that there are many people who fully believe that non-human intelligence and technology exists, and that non-human technology and beings are actually here. They have seen, a lot of the recollections were of how the speed of these crafts that they see, a lot of them are kind of cubes or like within circles, and I feel kind of crazy talking about it, but like, I believe the little guys. I believe that they saw that, you know? I haven't had an extraterrestrial experience, so I don't know, right? So a lot of them are kind of like cubes, circles, and the speed that they can fly and the control that they have mid-air is unlike any other technology that we as a nation have. So I was like, okay, if you see that, I mean, like, you can tell the difference between a fly and a bee by the way they fly. Right? And how they sound. Now you can tell the difference between an airplane and potentially a spacecraft by the way they fly. And apparently the spacecrafts fly very fast. And they have incredible control, so they can like drop down and just stop and like float in the midst of like hurricane winds, right? And like not move an inch, and then just take back off into space again. There was a lot of talk about sound barriers, and while you're in their own like human technology spacecraft, you don't hear the sound barrier being broken. You don't hear it. There's no like sonic boom. There might be, but you can't hear it. So like if a tree falls in the forest, doesn't make a sound. Maybe if you're in a spacecraft built by the United States, you probably won't hear it because you couldn't hear a sonic boom from a spacecraft. Oh my God. There was one man who was very careful about his wording, because I'm sure he didn't want like the Secret Service to be up his butt any more than they already are, claiming that there are actual non-human biologics, meaning aliens, like non-human aliens coming from outer space that we have in our possession, dead or alive. I don't know. He's not going to just willingly give up all this information because he can't clearance wise. We don't have the right clearance. So this is the fight that they're fighting, is the transparency between humans, between civilians and government. I didn't want to cough right in the microphone. The transparency between civilians and government, and what we have and what we don't have, or what we've experienced or what we have discovered from these non-human technologies and biologics. Transparency. That's like the fight that they're fighting. And it is absolutely phenomenal to see Congress have these conversations and not have too much of a condescending undertone when asking the questions, but still having the same movement in the same direction bipartisanly. It was mind-boggling. Everyone from every which side made a solid mention that this is a nonpartisan issue. Now, why couldn't have this happened with COVID, with racism, with abortion? I'm just saying. I'm just throwing those out there, Congress. If we can do it for the aliens, we can do it for so much more. Let's come together and fight the good fight. Let's just pretend that all the other issues are just as wacky, wild, and silly and goofy as aliens, and then maybe we'll be able to solidify this America nation, 50 states nonsense. What? But okay, so transparency is a big one. Transparency was really important because there isn't just the transparency of what the government has to what we want to know, but how can we tell the government what we saw without being treated like a crazy person in the middle of a cornfield? You know, we have to be able to say as civilians that we can experience UAPs as well. How do we tell you about it? How do we give you the information? How do we give you the videos? How do we not just put them on TikTok or something and be made fun of and have everything torn apart when we believe it to be a legitimate UAP? And then how do we also tell you about it and not have our own brains, what is it, Men in Blacked, zapped, and we totally forget about it, right? How do we, as a nation, stand tall against UAPs and non-biologics without the government stepping in and hiding everything away? Just because you don't have the answers to where they came from, or are they looking to harm us, or is this a direct threat, or is national security about to be obliterated because a couple aliens landed? We should know about it, government. So I thought it was really interesting to see such, I wouldn't say a big turnout because there really weren't a lot of people there, but I thought it was a really interesting congressional hearing for everyone on each side of the aisle to sit down and ask their questions and to really kind of get interested. There's a buzz of energy that happened. There was also a mention from one of the witnesses that they are familiar or aware of humans, his coworkers, his friends, his my brain stopped working. His equals, his parallels in work have been threatened and or harmed and or taken out completely due to their knowledge and their talking of their announcement of the UAPs that they have seen, that they have been threatened, harmed, and or taken out completely because of aliens, and because they won't shut up about it. So that's very interesting. It's very Men in Black. And I think it's very interesting that there were members of Congress who asked to see more of the Tic Tac. They call it the Tic Tac video because the little guy, the little spaceship looks like a Tic Tac. The members of Congress asked to see more of the video because we just get like a really short snippet of it. So we just get a little short snippet of it. And members of Congress were like, all right, show us more. And they were like, you don't have the clearance for that. They're hiding something. Look, there's no doubt that the American government is hiding stuff from us. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Now, are they siphoning money from project after project after project and putting it towards the hiding and the backtracking and research on UAPs and aliens and non-biologics? Maybe. I don't know anything about that. This is just Lily's news. I don't know nothing about that. So, I thought it was really interesting that there are many people in the government and outside of the government working to push the notion and to spread the word that UAPs exist, non-biologics are here, we have them, and that it's a good thing to do the research and to spread the information, the correct information. Now, there were a lot of there are a few self-reports when it came to this as well, but it is what it is. Some people are just a little too old to be serving. Speaking of old, Mitch McConnell had a full-blown moment, which the internet, TikTok in particular, had fun with. So Mitch McConnell just stopped speaking mid-sentence and was non-responsive to touch or his name being called. He's about 81 years old. He's been through it. He's been falling a lot. And, well, that's all I got to say about that. There's some great TikToks, though. That's what I'll say. There's some great TikToks. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about some lawsuits. There's been lots of lawsuits, lots of legal action happening this week. Taylor Schabusiness, that's her name. Taylor Schabusiness was found guilty and not NGI for her crimes that I'm sure you'll be familiar with. She I believe 2021, she unalived her boyfriend husband Shad and took apart parts, and his mom found his head in a bucket, and there was more. That's all the details I'll give you. Google is a magical thing. But Taylor Schabusiness was put on trial. She claimed not guilty. She claimed not guilty due to mental illness is what I'll just say, because there's like so many words. It used to be due to insanity, but it's not that anymore. So she had her trial started on Friday, and yesterday she was found, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday she was found guilty on all counts. So good, because she was. And then there was like a second trial. 2 days ago. And then the next day, second trial was, a second part of the trial. It was determining if she was not guilty due to mental illness, etc. I don't even know what the real words are. But the jury said, no. Meth is a terrible drug. Don't do it. But she made the claims that her long-term use of meth deteriorated her brain, so that she really didn't know what she was doing at the time of the crime. And the jury said, no, you knew. You knew. So, and that's just because the defense had terrible witnesses. So if you are interested in that, I would suggest to watch Emily D. Baker. She has a full breakdown of that, and it was very interesting to watch the NGI part, because you don't really get that too often. But yeah, witnesses are very important. Your experts, especially in trial, are very, very important. They could be the best experts in the world, but if they're really bad on the stand, it could change everything for your case. Hi, David. How are you? Hello, hello. So let's see. Do you guys know who Billy Mitchell is? Do you? Because I sort of did, and I was watching Emily D. Baker cover the Taylor Schabusiness trial, and I was like, okay, I'm at work and I'm just listening, and then someone sends a super chat in, and they're like, hey, what are you doing in October? Because you should probably cover the Billy Mitchell trial because it's wild, bonkers, crazy. And I was like, Billy Mitchell trial? Let me look this up. And she's like, well, we're going to be doing a lot of whatever about her response. No one cares about her response. But should I? Yes, you should. So Billy Mitchell is best known for being the world record holder of many top scores in classic games like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong. And so there was basically a competition. Twin Galaxies is just like kind of like a game place in West Coast, and they would hold, they have a kind of a chat thread, sort of like a semi-Reddit action on their website, and you could send in playing original arcade games and beat someone's high score. Now, these were all back when it happened, early 2000s. This was all late 1990s, early 2000s. It was all recorded on a VHS, and there was a lot of plugins and da-da-da-da. But it was original, large, standing arcade video games. The name sounds familiar. Oh, yes. So Billy said, okay, bet. I got you. Donkey Kong. He had three high scores, three of the highest ever scores in the original Donkey Kong. And that it just so happened, and I'm going to read you like court documents. It just so happened that something terrible would occur. And by something terrible, I mean people just using their eyeballs and being really good at seeing little things. And his record, not just with Twin Galaxies, but with the Guinness Book of World Records, would be snatched right out of his little Billy Mitchell hands. And he'd say, oh my God, how dare you? I'm suing you. And the world went wild when all of this happened, because mainstream media picked this up because it was a big deal. It wasn't just one like world record. It was multiple world records of high scores. So let's go through some of these court documents, because Billy Mitchell is suing Twin Galaxies. Defamation. Can you believe it? All right, so let's see. Okay. Certified for publication. This was filed on 10/12/2021. This lawsuit has been happening for 4 years now. It will officially be going to trial. I hope that it is streamed, because I really want to sit there and react to all of it. Okay, so let's see. Plaintiff, William James Mitchell, Billy Mitchell, defendant, Twin Galaxies. So this is an appeal from an order of the Superior Court of Los Angeles. This is a legit court document. Okay, so Billy Boy Mitchell. He's such a jerk. I don't like him. I mean, I guess I just don't like the way he looks, but that's not really my place. Okay, so Billy Mitchell brought suit against Twin Galaxies LLC for defamation and false light after Twin Galaxies issued a statement asserting Mitchell's world record scores in Donkey Kong arcade game were not achieved on original unmodified hardware as required under its rules. So Twin Galaxies rules were, look, it's got to be some original shit. Like, you can't be modifying it. You can't be changing any of these up. You can't do that, right? You can't make any adjustments. It has to be an original built machine. Okay, as a result, it removed all of Mitchell's world record scores and banned him from participating in its leaderboards. The trial court denied Twin Galaxies' special motion to strike under the strategic lawsuits against public participation statute, the anti-SLAPP. So blah, blah, blah. You got to pay for your lawyers. I know it sucks. Okay, so facts of the case. Mitchell holds world records in several video games, including Donkey Kong and Pac-Man. In 1999, Mitchell achieved the first perfect score in Pac-Man arcade game and was recognized as the video game player of the century by Namco, maker of Pac-Man. Go off, Billy. Video game player of the century. Okay, we see you. We still see you because you're everywhere. Like, what are you doing? Let this go. At issue in this case are 3 of Mitchell's world record scores for the arcade game Donkey Kong. Okay, so there's 3 different scores because they call them 3 different things because they were played like at different like conferences and stuff. So you have the King of Kong score, which was 1,047,200 points in 2004. You have the Mortgage Broker score because it was literally at a mortgage broker conference. 1,050,200 points in 2007, and then you have the Boomer score, 1,062,800 points in 2010. Mitchell has appeared in several documentaries on competitive gaming, including the film titled The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters. The early 2000s was wild. All right, so Twin Galaxies was founded by Walter Day, blah, 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 blah. So Day partnered with video game adjudicators such as the International Video Game Hall of Fame and Guinness World Records to facilitate and organize video game competitions. From 1982 to 2014, Twin Galaxies adjudicated world records through on-site referees or by video. So either at the place or you could send a tape in because they could still see, depending on how the game played, if it was an original game or not. So in 2014, it was sold. Excuse me. Okay, so Twin Galaxies has their website, twingalaxies.com. It's still... Is it still a thing? twingalaxies.com. New to Twin Galaxies? Yeah, go check out Twin Galaxies. Sure. It's like a place. Oh God, I need some more Dayquil. Okay, so twingalaxies.com. So it's where you can upload your videos, people can comment on them, people can judge them and all that stuff. Twin Galaxies publishes leaderboards on its website for thousands of video game titles across dozens of video game platforms, including arcade machines, game consoles, and emulation platforms such as Multiple Arcade Machine Emulator. They call it MAME, which is terrifying. And the leaderboards recognize achievements for high score or fastest time, and they rank players in those and other categories. So records and rankings appear on the Twin Galaxies leaderboards and have been used by Guinness World Records in several Guinness World Record Gamers Edition books. Cool, right? So Twin Galaxies provides a process to dispute a score appearing on a leaderboard. So if you think it's wrong, if you think it's false, if you think they're lying, they have a way to be like, don't believe you. And so this is what someone did. So Jeremy Young, who was registered through the Twin Galaxies website under the name Xelnia, Xelnia, disputed Mitchell's King of Kong score, Mortgage Broker score, and Boomer score. He said, I don't believe you. And I'm going to tell you why. I love lawsuits. Oh my gosh. Now remember, lawsuits are allegation and shade. Nothing is actual fact until the jury or the judge says liar, truther. So yeah. But anywho, so the scores was not achieved on original Donkey Kong arcade hardware. Wow. Donkey Kong arcade hardware as required under the rules. Instead, the disputed scores were achieved on an emulation platform such as MAME. Young examined videotapes of the disputed scores and found certain images and anomalies which he asserted could not be produced by the original Donkey Kong arcade hardware. Okay, so Young presented evidence that the original Donkey Kong, this is where it gets so freaking juicy. So Young presented evidence that the original Donkey Kong arcade printed circuit board, PCB, hardware draws the Donkey Kong levels frame by frame, with the first frame drawing 1/2 portions of 5 girders, and the rest of the frames filling in those girders. So Young presented evidence that the Donkey Kong game on emulation software, that is the game loaded on a computer other than a PCB, similarly draws the game's levels frame by frame, but with the first frame drawing 3 girders, with 1 girder having a protruding line that has been nicknamed the girder finger. So evidence that they have discovered of the faking of the game playing levels with the high scores. You didn't play this on, supposedly, this is what this is saying, you didn't play it on an actual original hardware game, whatever, because of this. The original doesn't do this. An emulator does. Hi, Crystalline. You just entered the T-zone of the lawsuits of the life of a serial world record gamer. So Young posted screenshots from the video and showing the girder finger. There were other unexplained anomalies and artifacts in the footage which led him to believe the games played in the videos were inconsistent with original Donkey Kong arcade games. And they're saying the games played in the videos because Billy Mitchell didn't play the game like at Twin Galaxies or in front of like adjudicators. He sent the videos in. Okay. Very interesting. So Twin Galaxies posted digital copies of the video footage on its website and said, guys, look, what do you think? Tell me what you think. And so it conducted its own investigation as well of Young's dispute, and Twin Galaxies published this statement in 2018. Excuse me. Based on the complete body of evidence presented in this official dispute thread, Twin Galaxies, oh my God, wait for it, Twin Galaxies administrative staff has unanimously decided to remove all of Billy Mitchell's scores, as well as ban him from participating in our competitive leaderboards. We have notified Guinness World Records of our decision. Oh my God, could you imagine being little Billy Mitchell and having like multiple world record high scores on games, and then just getting this, like, I don't know, Instagram notepad update? Like, no more. Stop. Okay, so on 2018, Twin Galaxies filed a dispute claim assertion against the validity of Billy Mitchell's historical and current original arcade Donkey Kong score performances of, the King of Kong, Mortgage Brokers, and Boomer score on the technical basis of a demonstrated impossibility of original unmodified Donkey Kong arcade hardware to produce specific board transition images shown in the videotaped recordings of those adjudicated performances. Oh my God. I can't. That's heartbreaking. Little Billy Mitchell thinking you're going to get away with lying if you're lying. I don't know if you're lying, but if you believe that you're not lying and that you believe that you played on an actual unmodified Donkey Kong game and you send them this tape. Now, let's just say, theoretically, if you send them this tape and you're like, guys, I beat my record and I beat my record and then I beat my record again on an unmodified machine. And then, like, years later, it's like, no, you're a liar. So he got mad because when this happened, the mainstream media picked it up. And everyone was calling Billy Mitchell a liar and a cheat. And that's just in general, just like not a cool thing to be called. Like, if you're not a liar and a cheat and someone's calling you a liar and a cheat, you're like, oh my God, I'm not a liar and a cheat. And so he's like, I'm going to sue you guys for defamation because I'm not a liar and a cheat. And I'm going to get all of these people involved that know me, and know that I'm not a liar and a cheat and that I played that game and that it was unmodified. Okay, so let's continue. Oh my God, it's just so funny. Like this, like of all the lawsuits in the world. Oh my God. Okay, so let's go. Okay. The statement was distributed to the public through Twin Galaxy's website and social media platforms, where it garnered media attention from mainstream news outlets such as the New York Times, the Washington Post, and Variety. Imagine waking up one day and the New York Times, Washington Post, and Variety have an article about you being a liar and a cheat, and you're like, hold on, I was just the world record holder? What are you talking about? Like, it all just starts crumbling. Like it all happens real fast. Wow. After initially stripping Mitchell of his world records, Guinness World Records reinstated them on June 18th, 2020, after it conducted its own investigation. And now you're like, see, I told you. And now this isn't cool because you said that I was a liar and a cheat, and Guinness says that I'm not. So, like, what is it? So the lawsuit, Mitchell brought suit against Twin Galaxies for defamation and false light, alleging Twin Galaxies implied he cheated to achieve his scores. Mitchell further alleged special damages arose from the defamation because he uses the notoriety associated with his professional gaming reputation to promote his hot sauce company, Ricky's Hot Sauce. Ricky's Hot Sauce. Owned and operated by the Guinness World Record holder of Donkey Kong. You want to buy that hot sauce. Have I seen this hot sauce? Is this like a big hot sauce? Ricky's Hot Sauce. Ricky's world famous Louisiana hot sauce. 5 ounces. $12.50. I mean, a pack of one, $12.50? But your face isn't even on it, bro. I'm confused. Okay. So you use your notoriety to sell hot sauce that has no immediate tie back to you. Interesting. Okay. Sure. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then Twin Galaxies filed an anti-slap motion. Mitchell opposed the anti-slap motion. Let's see. Okay, so Twin Galaxies filed an anti-slap motion contending its statement arose from protected activity and Mitchell could not establish a probability of success on each of his causes of action. In support of its anti-slap motion, Twin Galaxies submitted a declaration from Hall detailing the company's investigation of the dispute claim. A team of Twin Galaxies including Hall, conducted its own analysis of the videotapes. The team's analysis of the tapes showed the levels drawn in the first frame contained 3 girders and the infamous girder finger. According to Hall, they tested extensively and could not avoid finding the girder finger in the 2 tapes. They also extensively tested gameplay that was captured directly from an unmodified Donkey Kong arcade, PCB, and were never able to capture the levels containing 3 girders or the girder finger. So they were like, look, this is our research. This is what we found. And Mitchell was like, look, you guys are fabricating a dispute to draw attention to the website and increase revenue. So you're lying on my name for clout. And Mitchell stated in a declaration he urged Hall to interview a number of witnesses, including Walter Day, the founder of Twin Galaxies, as well as the referees and others who witnessed his live performances of the disputed scores. He recounted that Hall repeatedly refused to do so and told Mitchell and Day that he didn't care about any eyewitnesses. Man, oh man. There's just so much to this, like it makes me want to explode. So Mitchell achieved the new Donkey Kong record on July 14, 2007. The Twin Galaxies referees documented the score and confirmed it. The convention organizers then returned the hardware to the Nintendo senior engineer for re-verification. So after he confirmed the hardware remained legitimate, he mailed it to Mitchell via UPS. And Mitchell submitted declarations from the referees, the organizers, and eyewitnesses at the convention to attest to these facts. In 2010, Mitchell attempted the Donkey Kong record once more at Boomer's Arcade in Florida. An original Donkey Kong arcade machine was provided to Boomer's Arcade by a local arcade machine vendor. Mitchell submitted a declaration from the vendor attesting to the condition of the machine and that it contained original unmodified hardware for the world record attempt. Gah! Okay, so he's like, look, this is all verified, unmodified. It's all been sent and re-verified and re-verified, and I have eyewitnesses that saw them verify and plug everything in. And then I played, and I'm just really good at the game. And sometimes there's a girder finger, and sometimes there's not. Girder finger. So Twin Galaxies, after he was like, look, you can't lie on my name and for clout. Twin Galaxies was like, look, we have more declarations to dispute Mitchell's assertions. Why do I keep saying assertions? Mitchell's assertions regarding the chain of custody issue and Twin Galaxies' failure to consider eyewitnesses' evidence of the disputed scores. Eyewitnesses are eyewitnesses. It's hard to be like, yeah, that's an unmodified game when like you may not even know what it, like if someone was like, hey, open the back of this game, is this modified or unmodified? I'd be like, whatever you say it is, boss. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell the difference because I don't have that, not every eyewitness is going to have the full knowledge of the interior of like an original like 2002 unmodified Donkey Kong. I don't know. So Twin Galaxies was like, oh, man, whatever. So the King of Kong score was adjudicated by videotape. There was no evidence of a live performance. Mitchell never asked Hall to interview anyone specifically, and no one posted any evidence on the Twin Galaxies website regarding a live performance prior to the April 12th, 2018 statement. For evidence of the live performances was irrelevant to the dispute because the dispute related solely to whether the gameplay captured on the videotapes was from an original unmodified Donkey Kong PCB. Additional exhibits and declarations were also submitted to address other factual issues raised in Mitchell's opposition. Okay? Ah, man. It's just, it's an absolute mess. So there's a lot more to this as well. But I think I might do a full entire breakdown next Friday of this because one, my throat hurts really bad. I want to keep going through it. There's still like 14 more pages just to this one doc. But my throat hurts really bad. And so I'm probably going to leave you guys with that. There's another thing that I did want to talk about though. So yeah. So what do you think? just based on that little information, did Billy Mitchell lie or did he not? We don't know. We don't have all the information. But based on that, what do you think? Billy Mitchell is also Billy Mitchell has been involved in a few other lawsuits throughout time with a YouTuber as well. So I'm going to give all of that. I'm gonna do a full breakdown on Billy Mitchell for you for next week, because there's a lot to this man. There's a lot to this man. And I'm like, I'm intrigued. I'm enthralled by this, because I remember a little bit, I remember I remember hearing someone losing their records, I remember that in like a few years ago, that clicked, right? Yeah, we'll do a full video next Friday, but I also want to leave you on this as well. Let me get my Chrome open. Okay. I had a really cool, good, interesting, confusing notification come through that Alicia Navarro, a missing teenager, she was 14 when she went missing, she is almost 19 now, has been found alive and well. She's back. She walked into a police station in Arizona. Well, not in Arizona. She walked to a different police station, but she's in Arizona, and said, "Hi, I am Alicia Navarro. I am back." This was a massive, massive news story. So I listened to the statements that the police and other officials had. They are only giving very few details out right now. She is an adult. As of right now, she does still look very young. They said she was very, very apologetic to her mother about what she did. Her disappearance did begin as a runaway. We don't know what happened from there. We have no notification that there's anyone currently facing charges. She is currently not facing any charges. She was 14 when she disappeared. She is now almost 19 years old. So it like broke today. It was a thing. It happened today. So it's very interesting, and we all have a lot of questions. I don't know how many questions I'm going to get answered from this case, but this was a very big case. There was a lot of content made about it, a lot of people following this case as close as possible for as long as possible, and to have a child come back in the manner that she did was very strange, but what a pleasant outcome for a mother who lost her child at 14. There's hope out there. So I thought that was really interesting. So she's home. Well, she's back. She's okay. As of right now, there's still a lot of questions. The media tried to ask a lot of questions. And a lot of them were just shut down, because as of right now, there's still an investigation and there's still conversations that she needs to have with the police to figure out where they need to go next. So very interesting. And what is sticking out to me is her walking in to a police station and saying, "I need to get off of the missing child registry." That's what she did. She said, I am me, and I need to not be missing anymore. And they like, "Oh, okay. We got to ask you some questions." So that's that. That's my news. That's Lily's news. I'm going to go home and go to bed, and continue to drink all of the water and juices, because my Lily throat, ew, don't say that. My throat is not having it. So next Friday, definitely expect a full Billy Mitchell breakdown, because I'm just going to go to bed and I'm just going to keep reading all of the legal documents that I can. I am loving this. There's going to be a trial in October. Hopefully it's streamed. Hopefully it's a jury trial. I'm so excited. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. If you are not subscribed, definitely do that. If you have not checked out any other content on the Insane Games TV YouTube channel, definitely do that as well. And if you go see something, leave them a comment and say that I sent you so that they know that I am super cool also. And so do all those things, and I will see you all next Friday. If you want more of me, I make content on YouTube at Lily's Lottery, regulated lottery, Lily's Lottery right here on YouTube. I make videos about 4 or 5 times a week. I go live twice a week. So there's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of me everywhere. So go check all that out, and I will see you next Friday. Be safe, you guys. All right. You know what to do. Goodbye. Goodbye now.